I remember growing up in Charlotte, and my favorite radio station was WPEG Power 98. Skip Murphy was the DJ at that time, and I remember waiting all day for our favorite songs to be played. It's not like today, where today is at the click of a button. You know, this age doesn't understand the struggle of creating a mixtape and creating your playlist, and because at the click of a button now they can just create their playlist at the drop of a dime, right? Several of them within a few minutes, right? But back in the day when I was making my mixtape, I had to wait up hours and sometimes weeks waiting for my favorite song to be played. So y'all didn't listen to the radio? Y'all look at me like y'all didn't listen to the radio back then. And so I would have my mixtape, and I would be trying to make my mixtape, waiting for my favorite song to play, and you had to hit record at the right time so you didn't get the commercials, right? And you had to stop it before the DJ started talking, right? And I was doing this, and for weeks on end, I'm trying to record all my favorite songs, and I was sabotaged. I was sabotaged because my eyelids just didn't stay awake. See what happens? I would fall asleep nearing the end and completion of my mixtape, and then I would forget to hit stop the record button, and my commercial-free mixtape was now all messed up. Anybody remember those days we tried to make those mixtapes? Well, sometimes I was able to finally get at the conclusion and make my mixtape, and it was a great mixtape, and I would put it in my Walkman. I remember the Walkman, your cassette tape player, and I would turn the music up as loud as I could, and there I was rocking it with my music on. Hey, hey. But at times my music was so loud that I couldn't hear my father calling my name because my music, the noise was too loud for me to hear my father speaking to me. And so he would say, he would call my name, but I couldn't hear him. No matter how close he was to me, even though we were in the same place, I couldn't hear him because the noise was too loud. Can you hear your father? Or have the lights, noise, and distractions cause you to miss the voice of God? Even though he is near, there are too many distractions. There's too much noise surrounding you that you can't hear your father's voice. I think that when we look closely at this text in Daniel, we'll find that Daniel was in that same place where he had a lot of noise around him, a lot of distractions going on around him, and that in spite of trying to hear the voice of God, he needed to turn down the noise in his life in order to be able to hear from God. What noise in your life do you need to turn down? Our noise looks different, right? Our noise looks different for all of us. Maybe you're the noise of a single parent or a parent where you're trying to do all you can to meet the needs and desires of your child, but yet you can't find solace in alone time to spend in the presence of God. Or perhaps you're that father, you're trying to make ends meet, or perhaps you're that young adult where you're trying to achieve all the success. You're trying to work and secure the bag, and you're trying to do all of these things, but yet you haven't found time to spend time with the Father. What does your noise look like? Perhaps you can't hear God and receive the peace of God because you're overly concerned with your physical limitations and your health concerns, and that your aches and pains are causing you to miss out on spending time with God in order to get the peace that you so desire. What does your life noise look like? I imagine you probably begin to replay some of those things that's going on in your life, right? Those distractions, those noises that are going on in your life that are causing you to miss hearing and spending time with God. What does your noise look like? For some of us, it may be playing video games, YouTube videos, DIY videos, one after another, social media feeds, constantly feeding your souls, but yet you don't have time to spend with God. And the noise that you're now being overloaded with has caused you to doubt who you are has caused you to doubt, am I loved? Has caused you to doubt, does God see me? Does anybody love me? Because we have filled our life with so much noise. Am I talking to anybody in here? Well, we have so much going on in our life, so many distractions, so much life happening, and they say life is lifing, right? Life is lifing right now. I'm struggling. It's going hard. But perhaps we need to turn down the noises of life and turn up the volume of God. We'll see in this text that Daniel did just that. That he turned up the volume of God by turning down the noises of life. Some of you, so how did he do just that? How did he turn up the volume so that he can hear God clearly? And how did he turn down the noise of life? So I guess nobody here wanted to know. But that was a good place for y'all to say, how did he do it? All right, thank you. Okay, y'all paying attention today. All right. So what we find is that when we look at the text closely, you'll see that it was his fasting. Daniel put into practice a spiritual discipline that many of us don't even complete today. It was a spiritual discipline of fasting in which Daniel put it into practice. And when he put this into practice and then added it with prayer, he was able to turn up the volume of God's voice. And so here it is. If you're writing anything down, for those of you that are taking notes, what you need to do is you need to turn up God's voice through fasting when you turn down the noises of life. I'll say it one more time. Turn up God's voice through fasting when you turn down life's noise. In other words, if you want to hear from God clearly, if you want to turn up the volume of God who's always speaking to us, we have to put into practice the spiritual discipline of fasting. And when we put into practice the spiritual discipline of fasting, it'll help us turn down the distractions of life, the noise of life that we all are surrounded by, that we all are consumed by. We have to turn up God's voice through fasting and turn down life's noise.